Tune into the Salsa Kings Network. Crack one open if you dare, creeps.
Being a marketer's no sweat. You just have to manage dozens of channels, launch hundreds of campaigns, score thousands of leads, and okay, fine, it's a lot of sweat. Unless you have HubSpot's AI-powered marketing tools to help you do all that and more. Get started at HubSpot.com/marketers.
Pada's only staying 2 weeks.
Yeah. And then Xander can find someone else who's not me to obsess about. At least with you, I knew he didn't have a shot. Well, you know, I have a choice. I can spend my life waiting for Xander to go out with every other girl in the world until he notices me, or I can just get on with my life.
Good for you.
Well, I didn't choose yet.
Everybody, welcome to another episode of Boys Watching Buffy. We are just two boys watching every episode of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. We are your hosts. I'm Joe Welke.
I am Vance.
And today we're talking about Season 2, Episode 4, Inca Mummy Girl, directed by Ellen S. Pressman, written by Matt Keane and Joe Rankenmeyer. The original air date.
I can never help you out because I'm not looking at it.
Yeah, Rankenmeyer. The original air date was October 6, 1997 to an audience of 4.7 million people. This is a fun one. It's a little fun one.
You know, it started out and I was getting feeling a little repetitiveness. But then I see they saved it at the end for me. But we can get into it.
Yeah, this episode made me just feel so bad for Xander.
It made you feel bad for Xander.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, I know what it makes you feel bad for Willow, but I feel like there's
actually I don't feel bad for either one of them because we've seen this like 17 times already, and it's only episode 16.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, they kind of they set it up to knock it down, so I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Should we get into Inca Mummy Girl?
Yeah. Let's just dive in.
All right. So the episode opens up with Buffy, Willow, and Xander talking about how this foreign exchange student program is the uber suck. They have to have somebody from some foreign land come and live with them for 2 weeks. And there's no like gender guidelines apparently because Buffy is supposed to have a man living with her. Cordelia has a man living with her.
We don't even meet any other female exchange students.
Yeah, I don't know who Xander was supposed to live with or Willow.
We've never met Xander's parents, right? We've never met Willow's parents. They've been like slightly referenced, like she's like, "Hey, mom," or whatever.
Yeah,
I think you sign up to get an exchange student. We never had my high school. There was exchange students, but we didn't like house any.
Okay. Yeah, we never had them at my high school or any other school that I've been to.
But I don't think Buffy would get a exchange student.
Yeah, she's the worst student. She was in the running to be a worst student in the school.
Also, for the simple fact she is in a single parent home.
Yeah.
And it seems like the mom has a hard enough time juggling work and her rambunctious daughter that she would take on another.
Right? Another kid might not speak English.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, Buffy has somebody, I think they said that they were from Peru.
You know what? You know what's interesting? Just thinking about it. They don't need this foreign exchange thing at all for this episode to work.
No.
Like, it could just be someone on the field trip.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Cordelia's stoked because she thinks she's got this hot Swedish guy. Xander gets pissed because Buffy's exchange student's a man. And then there's a guy. Also, they're at a museum.
Yeah.
And there's a guy named Rodney Munson who apparently like bullied Xander. And he's like scraping an ancient artifact with a knife.
And no one in the museum is stopping him. And it's like up to them to stop him.
Yeah.
And that actor is played by Clayne Crawford, who was basically the Mel Gibson character in the Lethal Weapon TV show. That got canceled and he got fired from it for like hitting someone or something. Like he is a problematic actor in real life.
Okay. Typecast again.
Yeah. But yeah, I thought his character was going to have a lot more to do when they introduced him.
This was like a nice twist. Because usually like in Buffy, it's like you get introduced to a character. As soon as you learn someone's name, you're like, oh, that person's going to be the evil.
Yeah, that person's going to be evil one, or they'll be tortured, or they're going to be the mummy or something. Yeah.
Yeah, they're getting kidnapped or they have some kind of secret.
Yeah.
But we find out that Rodney used to bully Xander, and the only way to get through to him, Willow knows how to do it. I don't...
Again, that's like a setup of like, I don't know.
Yeah, she was like, Buffy, we probably shouldn't use violence on Rodney. Let me go talk to him. And then she goes up to him and she's like, Rodney, do you really think that you should be scraping the ancient artifacts with a knife? And he's like, no.
Willow, the bully whisperer.
Yeah, right? I didn't understand like what their connection was.
And I was like
there was no backstory, and then like it never gets elaborated on.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, maybe this is a guy she's gonna like oddly hook up with. Like not hook up with, but maybe start like seeing beneath his rocky exterior or something.
Yeah.
But no, it's not there for that at all.
No. So as she like talks him down from that, some guy, a museum person, is like, hey, everybody come see the human sacrifice exhibit.
Yeah, those, that human sacrifice exhibit.
So he takes him to this other room where they have like a model built of like where they used to sacrifice humans in this ancient culture. Mm-hmm. And there's a mummy tomb in there and a mummy in the tomb. There's no like glass case. You can just like reach in. You can spit in it. You can do
it's not roped off. It's not sectioned. It's
there's no sign that's like don't touch.
Yeah.
Also, if a mummy was exposed to air like that, it would become a skeleton.
Yeah. It's just mummification is the process of like, it's, I don't know, man. They just put it out there, and there's no security at this museum at all.
None at all. Like Willow even makes a reference, like doesn't even have like those nice white bandages like in the movies. Yeah. It's like, that's what mummies have.
Well,
like,
I mean, I don't think they have to be wrapped up like that, but they would definitely be in a case.
Yeah.
They'd be in a glass case.
So the mummy also has this kind of like plate that she's holding, and
which is just open, just there.
Yeah, just there. And you know why it's just there. It's because later on, Rodney Munson sneaks into the exhibit. I don't know if this is at night or like just after everyone had left, but he sneaks into the mummy exhibit, grabs the seal, the plate thing, and breaks it. And then the mummy awakens and chokes him to death.
Which looked cool. And I like the eyes like moving, but they're not being eyes in the socket.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah, stepping up.
That was a little scary.
Yeah, stepping up the puppetry game.
And then we get to the opening song.
Yeah, and we predicted that it would start. Last episode, we predicted that it would start with them at a museum, and that somehow Willow would get possessed by the mummy. So we're half right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's going to be, obviously, there's a world cultural dance at the Bronze. I saw that sign. It was on Sunnydale High School's entrance.
Which is, when we see the dance, is the cultural appropriation dance.
This would have been very problematic if this came out today.
Yeah. In the 90s, completely fine.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
So Buffy's training with Giles and she's kicking the shit out of him and she's like, I want to go to the dance. And Giles is like, no, you got to train. And she's like, hi-ya! And he's like, okay, you can go to the dance.
This was the scene where I was like, wait, did we just go back to season 1? Like, Buffy has to argue with Giles to do something. And then Xander the whole time is like, wait, a guy living with you? Staying with you? What? No. What?
Yeah.
And he's saying this like in front of her, and it's like it's not subtle. Dude, we get it.
It's also
you're obsessed with it.
It's also like Buffy does the thing where Giles is like, you can't go to the dance. And she's like, I know, I'm the chosen one. There's only one of me who can slay. And I'm like, she gives herself her own backstory.
Yeah.
Like,
and
we know what the shit is.
And I'm like, you
dude.
guys go to the Bronze every night. What is this dance? And this is before they even discover the mummy stuff. Like, why can't she go to the dance?
I think that her logic, well, I guess they're just out doing random vampire hunting, but I think that her logic is pretty sound when Giles is like, you're going to have a foreign exchange student living with you. What are they going to think if how are you going to hide your Slayer lifestyle? And she's like, what better way to hide it than go to the dance like a normal kid?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And he's like, all right, you got me.
Yeah, I thought that made sense. I thought he was mentioning that as like, oh, you have to train in the library with me so that you can hide training at home or something. But yeah, like you have a foreign exchange student and she didn't even hide any of her stuff in her room. She's known about this for a while.
True. Yeah, that was pretty stupid.
Yeah.
So then Xander starts to explain to Buffy that he's not into Willow. And of course, Willow walks in just as he's like, what? I would never, ever think about kissing her. She's my best friend. I would never, ever in 1,000 years think about touching her.
Yeah.
And she's like, hey, everybody.
Well, she definitely walks in on the I love Willow bright smile. But never, ever, ever in my life would I ever kiss that monster. And then she doesn't even like go back out and then like kind of knock. She just goes, hey guys, like you're standing in the middle of the room.
Yeah. And Xander's like, oh, did you overhear that?
We're all three going to go to the dance together. Yay. Like,
well, it's also like, do you think that Xander knows that Willow's like in love with him?
Yeah, I feel like he does at this point.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I feel like he's so oblivious that he wouldn't have acted awkward when she came in. She's like, hey guys. And he's like, oh, is everything okay? Sorry.
Well, I think Buffy kind of hints towards like, she kind of likes you there. But also Buffy is leaning like, this is where Buffy's chinks in her armor come down, where she kind of seems like she likes Xander a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Willow comes into the room, and after overhearing this, she has bad news. Rodney Munson has been missing for the last day. He never came home. His parents called the cops. They don't know where he is. And then they're all like, yeah. The last I saw him was at the mummy exhibit. Maybe the mummy got him. Oh shit, the mummy definitely got
him. They stumble onto it so quickly, and normally I would be like, this sucks, but I'm like, you know what, let's just get to it. Let's not have them like try to figure out. And they somehow still don't figure out everything. Like they're figuring out clues late in this episode where I'm like, wait, you didn't put that together yet? But
yeah, especially like there's a certain thing where I was like, how is no one suspicious about this?
Yeah, and they just walk back to the museum.
Yeah,
and just
cut to the museum
and just go into the exhibit. No guide, no security. I don't know if anybody who's listening to this has been to a museum, but there's people standing around usually.
Yeah,
and at night it's locked.
And when there's something super valuable like a mummy with an ancient seal plate, they got that thing cased off.
Yeah.
Or roped. They got to have some kind of something.
Right.
But not in Riverdale. Sunnydale. Sorry, I'm talking Archie comics.
The Sunnydale Riverdale smash up that we've all been waiting for. There's a joke when they come in here about like, oh, maybe I didn't see him get on a bus or something, and it's like, oh, maybe he went out for a cigarette like for however many hours. It's like
21 hours.
Yeah, it's like, well, it is addicting.
Yeah, that was a pretty good joke.
Yeah, their anti-smoking stance is big in this show, man.
Yeah. So they investigate the mummy, and they're like, well, we don't see Rodney here. And then Willow is like, hey, guys, do you think that mummies had braces or orthodontists back then? And then we cut to a shot of the mummy, and it's got Rodney's braces. And so it's like, oh, shit, Rodney's the mummy now.
Yeah, that's what they figure out here. But then later they're like, oh, the mummy killed Rodney. Which I was like, wait, didn't you guys figure that out from this?
Yeah.
Like, what? Because, a guy shows up with a knife.
Yeah, a guy with a machete.
And tries to kill Xander. He stabs at him, looks inside the case, and then runs away. They don't chase after him. They don't ask any questions. They just go, huh.
Yeah.
That's it. They just go, huh.
Like the machete guy swings it once. Xander jumps on his back, and then he escapes and just runs away. And then Xander's like, I think I just saved us. It's like, that guy didn't do shit.
And do they think that guy somehow killed and mummified a kid in 21 hours?
I don't know.
What are they thinking there? That's what I'm confused by.
Yeah, I don't understand what they could have possibly thought that knife guy was up to. Like, that was so weird. Yeah. And Xander, like, defending himself from him was so not good. Like, he just jumped on his back. He got like a piggyback ride for like 2 seconds.
We've seen this guy a couple of times later in the episode. He's not good at his job.
No, he's terrible at his job.
Also, if your job is to protect that thing, maybe steal the mummy in the plate at night at some point, because it's just out in the open.
Yeah. I don't know. So then Buffy is talking to Giles, and they're like, well, my foreign exchange student is from that area, South America or whatever. And Giles is like, maybe we could have him translate the seal, because they just take the seal.
Yeah.
And
you take a broken shard of because the kid breaks it when he pulls it. Yeah. So they just
Rodney breaks it. But it's also like, why would you think that a kid from now South America could translate like ancient hieroglyphs?
It's just them being like, South America, sure.
Yeah.
Like an old ancient Incan text.
It's so stupid. Like, it was like, why would you ever think that a kid, like a high schooler, could translate ancient hieroglyphs? It was like, oh. But anyway, so then we get our first shot of Buffy's foreign exchange student, Empada, and he's waiting at a bus stop, and Buffy's like, oh, shit, I forgot to pick that guy up.
Already, I'm like, this is why they wouldn't have an exchange student. If you and the mom aren't picking up the kid together, then no, this doesn't.
Yeah.
You don't introduce someone to your house like that.
So he's wandering around the bus station, and somebody's going, Empada. And he's like, yeah, see? He's like walking around, hello? And then like the mummy comes up and smooches him and sucks his life out. Which I thought looked cool. It did look really cool. And then steals his clothes and starts wearing his clothes. And as Buffy shows up and she's like, Empada, where are you? Fuck, I'm sorry, I'm so late. And then this smoking hot babe shows up in Empada's clothes. And she's like, I'm Empada. How are you not suspicious?
No bags, standing in the middle of nowhere.
In the middle of 2 buses. No bags, supposed to be a guy.
Yeah, because it's set up earlier where Cordelia goes, hey, did you not look at the picture of your guy? And she's like, no, I didn't.
Well, it's also like that.
But you have the picture somewhere. The picture has to exist somewhere.
Yeah, how are you going to pick this person up if you don't know what they look like?
Well, in Sunnydale, they're probably not a lot of South Americans.
I guess it is a one Starbucks town.
It's a one Starbucks town.
But yeah, and then like Xander's having Xander's monologue to basically himself. He's just like, "Are we gonna have to speak fucking Spanish?"
Yeah. All I know is Doritos and
yeah. And then the hot chick shows up. He goes, "Ay caramba, I know that."
And you're like, "Oh man, this is classic '90s stuff." I don't even. What are you gonna do? But I do want to say this: there has to be an investigation about this missing Empata guy. You had an exchange student come to America.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, like he's a missing person now.
Yeah, that's true. Like his family back home never seeing him again.
Yeah. Like,
and Buffy is suspect number one.
Yeah, this is how terrorism starts. You know, when when people just start disappearing and there's no answers. They're just like, come on.
So later on in the episode, we see that Empata is in a suitcase, like his mummified, sucked life out of corpse. I think that's him, right?
I guess that's him. I was so confused. Because
otherwise, there's just a corpse lying on the bus station too.
So Buffy has the mummified corpse of her exchange student sitting in a suitcase in her room.
Yes.
Okay. Open and shut case.
Yeah, right?
We don't know how to explain it, but you're definitely guilty of something.
So Buffy just lets this strange woman who is supposed to be a man into her home. Willow's a little suspicious. Willow's like, weren't you supposed to be a dude?
Yeah, and then it twists from like Xander being jealous and now Willow being jealous, and I was like, I can't do this anymore.
Yeah.
I was already over it at this point.
Yeah, and then Xander's talking to Empata like she's an idiot. He's like, do you like water?
I do like how they explained that her English was so good. Because I was confused at first. And I was like, oh yeah, she's just been sitting, not dead, but kind of alive in the museum and just like hearing stuff this whole time, I think.
Well, I love how many like I'm the mummy hints that she dropped. Because it's like, oh, well, I've been traveling in America a bunch. And they're like, oh yeah, where? And they're like, I went to Atlanta and Texas and New York. And they're like, oh, so cool. Yeah. And then they're like, they ask her so many questions and she gives so many like, I'm the mummy hints.
What's it like so where you're from? Cramped and dark.
And dead.
Dead.
It's very dead.
Yeah.
It's so great.
It's so much different here. And then Buffy's like, not really.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're all just like subtly hinting at how awful everywhere is.
So Empata is basically like, I just want to have a normal life. I just want to fit in. I want to chill here in I keep saying Riverdale. Sunnydale. And like then we cut to the machete guy outside basically like stalking Buffy and Empata.
It would only be better if he was rubbing the knife against his cheek while he was staring in. Like that would be amazing.
So then we cut to Cordelia with some like punk rocker dude, and she's like making out with him. And we're like, oh, is that Sven? That's what I was thinking. I was like, is that Sven?
Yeah. And
it's not Sven. Sven is some just normal looking dude that she's like talking to like a dog. And he's like, well, why are you coming to the Bronze to listen to our band? She's like, yeah, whatever. And then Seth Green is in this, and he's just like hanging out. His name is Oz. And he's like talking to Cordelia's boyfriend, and Cordelia's boyfriend's like, man, you gotta get some chicks. You're the lead guitarist of our band. How can you not get any chicks? And then Seth Green's like, because I don't just fall for any woman that's hot and knows how to talk. And the guy's like, I don't care if she knows how to talk.
I thought that was great. Yeah.
That also, their band van is sick. It's like zebra stripes.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah, so they're just a band. They're not a part of the high school, right?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Yeah.
I'm sure we'll find out because I think the Seth Green is like in this.
I knew Seth Green was part of Buffy's. Like he's in the show. I thought he was coming much later. I thought he was coming like in season 3 or something, but I guess he's here.
Well, his goatee is also terrible, and it makes him look so old.
I'm curious to see how much of a stoner role he plays. Like every line he delivers is like just such a, oh, hey, who is that girl? Like, like it's like he's not a real person.
Yeah, he's weird.
Yeah.
So then we get Giles asking Empada to translate the seal, and she's basically like, you should really not fuck with this. You should hide this and maybe destroy it. This guy, see this hieroglyph here? It's a dude with a knife. That means bodyguard, I think.
Yeah.
And you should definitely not deal with this. And then Xander's like, I am so in love with you.
Well, then they're like, oh, I have to do more stuff and I'll study mystery group.
Yeah,
thing.
We're in the crime club.
They say something else before crime, like history club or something.
Archaeology club.
Yeah.
And then they're like, oh, we were lying to you before. We're actually the crime club and we're investigating certain stuff. A kid went missing and we're trying to figure out if this plate has anything to do with it. And Empada's like, you should just let that kid be dead. Don't worry about it.
Maybe the police should be involved and not 3 high school students and a librarian, but sure.
So then after Xander's like, I kind of want to be with her. I'll take care of her. Then he like gives her a Twinkie and he's like, this is American food.
This Twinkie scene is just a whole nother level.
Yeah. It's
like
terrible.
It's perfect Xander weirdness. Like he says, oh, here's the Twinkie, this blah, blah, blah. And he's like, we eat it like this. He shoves the whole thing in his mouth.
Yeah.
And it is weird. And she's doing rom-com, like you're in love with the lead actor. You have to laugh at everything they do type stuff.
Yeah.
Where like, she's like, okay, let me try. And she shoves like 3/4 in and they're like talking. She's like, you're weird and funny. He's like, I like that you like that I'm weird and funny. And
most girls would run away by now.
Yeah. And he's talking with a full mouth. Like, I commend him as an actor. He's got a full mouth of Twinkie delivering the scene.
Yeah, and I feel like, there's definitely multiple cuts. So he had to definitely eat like 4 or 5 at least Twinkies.
I mean, it's full Twinkie mouth conversation. Yeah.
Yeah.
Twinkies suck, though. I'm not a Twinkie fan.
You don't like Twinkies?
I don't like Twinkies. I don't know.
Twinkies are delicious.
Not a fan of Twinkies.
What's the matter with you? All right. That's weird. So then Buffy and Willow are researching the plate. Willow's upset about Xander being into Empada. And she's basically like, maybe I'll just wait until he dates every single other woman in the world before he realizes that he should date me. Or maybe I should like have some self-respect and move on. And Buffy's like, you should have some self-respect and move on. And Willow's like, what if I don't want to?
She's like, I haven't made the decision yet. And I'm like, oh yeah, we got the Seth Green Willow setup all happening. Yeah.
Then Machete Guy attacks Xander while they're on the bleachers eating Twinkies.
Okay, so you've played sports in high school and you've been on high school bleachers. How does that guy quietly sneak up from behind them on those bleachers?
There's no possible way that happened.
No, those things make so much noise. There's no one else there.
You take one step on a bleacher, it's like blang, blang, blang.
Yeah. Were they wooden bleachers or aluminum? I'm not even.
They were aluminum,
you
dude.
would hear clank, clank, clank. Yeah.
It's so wild. Like maybe if he was coming from below, but he snuck up from behind them from the higher ground.
Yeah.
Like there's no way. There's no way.
Impossible.
But he comes and attacks Xander.
How can he not kill Xander? How can he not hit a girl and Xander?
I have no clue. Well, it's weird because what we find out later is like he's supposed to not let the mummy come to life.
Yeah, I figured that was a role.
But he starts attacking everyone else but the mummy.
He said he doesn't know where the mummy is. He's trying to find the plate. At this point, he's trying to find the plate.
Oh, because when he attacks Xander, Xander like stops him. Good for him. Like, how does Xander get strength all of a sudden? Yeah. And Pata is like, stop. And then he turns and sees her and he's like, you're the princess.
Yeah, no, but before that, he's like, you stole the plate to Xander. And that's why he's attacking Xander. Because also
that makes sense.
Xander was at the crime scene. Because when he's at the first scene with them in the museum, he runs away when he sees the braces on the mummy and he realizes the mummy's not there. He's attacking them because he thinks they're there to steal the plate, I guess. But he wasn't there when Munson stole it. And I guess he lives at the museum and stays around and follows the mummy on tour. I have no idea. I have no clue how this works.
Well, maybe he's just like a magical person that can just appear, because that would be the only way to make sense of like the bleachers situation.
Yet also can die really easily.
Yeah.
And has to stand outside of Buffy's window for no reason.
Well, is he ancient as well?
I don't know if he's like a person that's been, he's like a watcher. You would think that they're making an allegory with the mummy and Buffy being the ones. Yeah. But they don't, they have an opportunity to make an allegory with him being a watcher like the other one.
Yeah, because they describe him as the princess's bodyguard. He's the bodyguard. And
no,
even on Wikipedia.
She describes him as that.
On Wikipedia, it says princess's bodyguard.
But that's what she says. And then later, Giles is like, no, that's not what it is.
Okay.
Right?
I don't remember that.
Don't believe what you read on Wikipedia, everything.
So,
especially when it comes to TV show summaries.
Well, basically we get Empata. They go back to the library and they're like, hey, Machete Guy just tried to kill us. And then Empata's like, he's looking for the plate. You guys got to just destroy that plate. And they're like, okay, that's weird. Then Xander's like, I'm going to ask Empata out to the dance. And then Willow's like, yeah, you should definitely do that. Go ahead.
And to me, this was the moment where I'm like, you have just been attacked twice by a guy with a knife, and your priority is still going to this dance.
Oh, yeah.
Not trying to stop the murderer that is trying to kill you first.
No.
I don't know. Like,
you got to grind up on some skeezers, Vance.
Yeah, I'm just thinking, like, even at horny teen level, you're still worried about getting murdered. You have to.
So Xander's like, all right, I'm going to go ask her for a dance. And then he goes and he's talking to Empata. And he's like, hey, this is going to sound weird, maybe. Hope you don't get mad, but I like you. And I want to take you to the dance. And Empata's like, why would that make me mad? I like you too. I'd love to go to the dance with you. And Xander's like, awesome. You're not a praying mantis, right? Which I was like, this is a fantastic callback.
Amazing callback to a first season episode.
Yeah. You're not a praying mantis, are you? And then Empata's like, what? And he's like, don't worry about it. Never mind.
And is this why you feel bad for Xander?
Yes.
Yeah. Like, only girls that like him are not living, not human.
Yeah. Are fucking. Because he even is like, hey, hold up. You're not some kind of supernatural freak thing, are you? And she's like, what? He's like, never mind.
I don't even blame him for asking that. It's like, you know what? You might as well just be sure after that.
Yeah.
But I love that he's more concerned about that than the guy who just tried to kill them on the school's campus.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, before this, Buffy complains again about wanting to go to the dance.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm wondering why she wants to go to this dance. She doesn't have a date. Like, I understood the episode where she was going on a date with the guy she had a crush on, and then it's like, hey, you can't go. You have to, like, hunt down these vampires that just got loose. You know, the anointed one's coming or whatever. That makes sense. This is like, hey, it's a dance at the Bronze.
It's like, there's literally going to be one tomorrow.
There's going to be one tomorrow. Like, you don't have a date to it. It's not like you haven't been able to go out.
Yeah.
So I don't understand this, like, big push of her, like, repeating it other than the theme of sacrifice for being the one. I thought they just could have given her a little more reason for her to go. Like have her have a date. Just throw some random dude in there. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, it didn't really make that much sense as to like why she was so desperate. Aside from like, I want to be a teenager.
Yeah.
I want to have to dress up in some offensive clothing.
Those outfits, man. Yeah, that's a fashion corner for the ages.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. So after Empana is like, hey, yeah, I'd go to the dance with you. She's like, well, I'm gonna go to the little girl's room, and Xander's like, all right, I'll wait for you out here. So she goes to the bathroom. She starts putting on like lipstick, and then the bodyguard guy shows up and he's like, you can't be doing this, dude. You're dead. You've been dead for 5,000 years. And she's like, I don't deserve to be dead though. Like I was killed. I was innocent. I didn't do anything wrong. I was a sacrifice. And he's like, yeah, but you're killing a bunch of people now. And those people are innocent too. So it's not right. And then she's like, all right, well, guess what? Smoochy, smooch, smooch. I'm going to suck the life out of you.
Yeah. Which means this is a living person. He's not magical.
Okay. But how did he also get into the girls' room?
Been waiting there all day. He just knew. He just knew she's going to go into the one girl's room. I don't know, man. I don't know. But I will say, I love that this guy's on campus and there's like nothing. This principal that is locking stuff down is like, hey, there's a strange looking man with a scar on his face, just in a weird outfit, just walking around.
Just a dude in ancient garb, scar face, and a giant machete.
Yeah. I think this is the guy that's in like that movie Wind River, and he was in like Kimmy Schmidt and a bunch of things. This scene I actually enjoyed because the mummy's not a bad person.
Yeah.
And I appreciated that. And I was wondering...
Except that she did kill people.
Yeah, she killed people to become human. But she wasn't like... It's not like the Mummy series where like the mummy was a murderer and then they cursed her. And now she's a cursed mummy. Like, it's just a... It added a nice little layer of like, it's not just a pure villain. She's not doing this out of maliciousness. She's doing it to... You know.
Well, her reasoning is like, I was robbed from my life. Like I didn't get to have a good life. I was sacrificed and I didn't do anything wrong. So I should be able to have that.
Yeah, I mean that makes. I mean, she's a teenage girl. She's doing that. Buffy doesn't have to sacrifice her life. Yeah. She almost sacrificed her life, which they reference later in the episode. But Buffy gets to still do. Buffy can't go to a dance one night. Yeah. Is different from hey, this ancient culture sacrificed you to save their people. Now, with that, this posits that ancient Mayan and Aztecian human sacrifices were necessary. Like, you know what I mean? It like validates human sacrificing in ancient cultures.
Yeah, I guess it does.
Yeah, and I want to know, like, they need to show... It would have been nice to have the mummy team up with Buffy and the crew to fight off the thing that her coming back to life was... Her dying was supposed to prevent. You know what I mean? Like, what is her being sacrificed and turned into a mummy actually do?
Yeah.
It's like you had to die for everyone else. Like, she's basically like Jesus in a way where it's like, oh, you have to die for our sins, but like, what happens if she comes back?
Well, it's also like, why did they feel the need to put that seal on her? Like, was she, like, what's the worst thing that could happen if she did come back? Like, I didn't get that. And like, how does she come back to life?
And the seal at the end doesn't make any sense because it's like, we have to get the seal together. And spoiler alert, they don't get it together.
No,
that ending was weird, man. This ending of this episode is wonky. It's like,
well, hold on.
We'll get to it, but it's like they just stopped writing. It was like, all right, we got to the end of the script.
What's our usual ending? Buffy beats the shit out of somebody? Okay, we'll do that.
We'll figure it out on the day.
Yeah. But before all that, so after she sucks the life out of the Guardian, like she goes back to Buffy's house, and Buffy's unpacking her stuff, and she's like, "Here, I'll unpack your clothes." And she's like, "I'd rather you not." And then Buffy's like, "Oh, okay, that's weird." And then she starts to have like the whole allegory of like, you know, the Incan princess. She didn't get to live a life, and like she had to sacrifice all this stuff, and it wasn't fair what they did to her, and it sucked. And meanwhile, Buffy's like opening her luggage, and she's got like dude underwear, and Buffy's like, "That's weird." And then Buffy's like, "You know, I kind of relate to that. It's weird when, you know, you're the chosen one. I kind of relate to that." And then she goes to open Empata's like big trunk suitcase, and she opens it, and we see a corpse in there, a mummified corpse. But Buffy is like looking so far the other direction that she doesn't notice it, and Empata like slams it shut.
No, the doorbell rings.
Oh, the doorbell rings because it's Xander's there.
Yeah. Also, this whole scene, and because Empata almost opens a drawer that has like stakes and crucifixes in it too. But this whole scene is set up with Empata being like, "Oh, do you have lipstick? I don't have any lipstick." Meanwhile, in the scene we just watched her put on lipstick in the girls' bathroom and come out with full of lipstick.
I didn't even fucking realize that.
It was back to back. It wasn't like scenes apart.
You're so right. Holy shit.
The whole thing is she's like, "I don't have any lipstick." And then later, Buffy's like, "What girl doesn't come and bring lipstick?" And I'm like, we just watched her put on lipstick. I don't know where she got that lipstick from.
Holy shit.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a little like oversight or thing, but I was just like, the whole scene is them looking. That was like
what a bunch of bull hockey. I'm upset now.
I don't know how you didn't notice that, because she comes out of that bathroom.
I didn't.
You even mentioned it in your recap. She puts on lipstick in the bathroom.
Yeah, I can't believe that. I'm so stupid.
I was just like, what do you mean she doesn't have lipstick? Where did she get her dress that she's wearing?
That's
or the
true.
Outfit? Where did she get the
Did
second?
Buffy let her borrow it?
Where did she get her second outfit?
I don't know. Oh my god, dude. But anyway.
Yeah.
Xander shows up, and he's dressed like Clint Eastwood. In like the
Good, the Bad, the Ugly, 5 ED pieces or whatever, like one of those.
The Dollars trilogy.
Fistful of
Dollars.
Yeah.
And she's like, "Where are you from?" And he's like, "I'm from Leone land," which is like Sergio Leone or whatever. And then he sees Empata come down in her beautiful dress, and he's like, and Buffy's like, "He says that you look beautiful. I can translate stuttering idiot boy talk."
Yeah.
And then he looks at Buffy, and he's like, and she's like, "You're welcome."
I gotta say, I did like that exchange.
Me too.
Yeah.
So she comes down, she's like, "All right, you ready to go to the dance?" And then Buffy's like, "I'm going to go out, and we're going to try and find the mummy." And Xander's like, "Be careful." And she's like, "You have fun." And then her mom, Buffy's mom, is like, "Isn't it crazy how seamlessly Empata's fitting in with everybody?"
It is the most, like, she comes out of nowhere, like when at the bottom of the stairs. It's like, I didn't even know she was going to be in the episode.
Yeah. There's no reason for her to be in the episode. There's no reason for this line even.
Well, when they're looking out of the door at, because Buffy goes like, "You look good, Xander." And there's a moment there where she's like, "Oh yeah, I kind of like Xander now."
Yeah.
That's the look. And I'm like, I don't know what clicked, why it clicks now, but it's there. And I'm happy it's there.
I think it was, I think it was more of like, it's not like I like Xander, but it was like, I'm happy for my friend finally getting a girl. But I know exactly what you're talking about later on.
Mm-hmm.
So I could see your point of view.
No,
as well.
I mean, they've been planting a little bit of a seeds throughout, because they have a lot more where they have moments to talk about serious stuff, as opposed to him just being like, "Guy next to you? No."
Yeah. So Cordelia's boyfriend and Seth Green's band are playing at the Bronze for the cultural appropriation ball.
It really is.
Cordelia is mean as shit to her exchange student Sven. She's dressed like Hawaiian, Like she has like a bikini on and a lay.
Yeah,
Sven is dressed like a Viking. Willow's dressed like I don't know what's the appropriate term.
Inuit or Eskimo. I don't know if like. I mean,
they refer to her as Eskimo in this.
Yeah. She has the like fishing spear and the parka with the hood up where you can only see her face. Why would you ever decide to wear this to the bronze to a dance?
No idea.
Not going to be comfortable.
It's in Southern California too.
Yeah.
Like you're going to be hot as fuck.
Yeah, man. I don't know. It's hilarious. I do love the look for the comedy purposes and making Willow just seem out of place. And like she pulls it off too. Like somehow she still looks cute in it.
Yeah,
like,
no, it's funny and cute.
Yeah.
But Cordelia's friend is like, why are you being so mean to this guy? I think he's kind of cute.
Yeah.
And she's like, this guy, he doesn't know anything. I have to talk to him like a dog.
She's like, punchy, like to get punch.
Yeah, fruit punch. It was like, why would you like?
I don't know who this Cordelia friend is, but she finally like broke out of her shell and was able to speak up.
The curse was lifted.
One of the side mean girls was like, wait, I don't want to be mean anymore.
Yeah.
Or like, oh, this guy's big and foreign and I kind of like him.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they go off separately.
Yeah. So Giles runs to Buffy's house and he's like, is anyone here? And she's like, no, why? What's up? And then he's like, I think that Empada is the mummy.
Yeah, she translated the bodyguard thing wrong. She said bodyguard, but it means protector or killer or like watch. Yeah. Something different. He doesn't ask, hey, is your mom home? Because we're talking at full volume in the living room.
Yeah, about mummies.
Yeah. And we just saw her just pop out of nowhere.
Yeah. Well, I think this is the scene where he mentions like he's like supposed to make sure that she doesn't come back to life and make sure that the seal.
Yeah, so he's not a bodyguard, but he's the extra security past the plate that they just put on her chest.
Yeah. That literally anyone in a museum could take off.
How
did no one take it
and put it in a different frame? And like in a museum, that would be framed up next to the mummy as like, hey, this is the thing, with like a little placard and information about like what it is. They would not just leave it in the hands. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. I've been to mummy exhibits. Mm-hmm. Like they don't even have the like casket open most of the time. But there's always like a glass case around it and roped off, and you just read about it on like pictures in front of it. Yeah. Like you can't even get anywhere near it.
Here, they're just able to touch, feel off, like walk in and out.
Yeah, like it's wild, the lack of security here. But so then they go up into Buffy's room and they're like, well, let's check her storage because I looked into her suitcase and she had dude underwear.
I think there was it's supposed to be like a British joke. He's like, because she's like, oh, I need to check her trunks. And Giles is like, what? And like trunks are like underpants. And could be, maybe they were trying to go for that because he seems so dumbfounded.
Well, trunks, I do have a pair of underwear that I bought from Urban Outfitters that are described as trunks.
Yeah. So I think he's
I get it.
But I don't know if you would necessarily call a woman's underwear trunks.
Me neither,
It just, I don't know. It just seemed like he shouldn't have been so surprised by that. I don't know.
So they go up and
maybe he's surprised that this person traveled with trunks instead of suitcases.
Could be.
Because, I mean, these are ancient trunks. I have no idea where this stuff came from.
Yeah, it's like this person, like original Empada, like the dude Empada looks like Indiana Jones. Like he's got these trunks that are like Indiana Jones era and he's dressed like Indiana Jones. Yeah. So they go up, they see all the dude clothes, and they're like, that's weird. And then Buffy's like, yeah, I think this is weirder. And she's got a mummified corpse in this suitcase. Mm-hmm. And they're like, all right, well, we got to go save Xander.
Yeah. This is when Buffy's like, yeah, what girl travels without lipstick? Right here. And she's like, I should have known.
So then we cut back to the Bronze and we're watching Cordelia's boyfriend's band play a song. And it's super funny watching Seth Green act like he's playing guitar because he doesn't move his hands at all.
There's a shot where he's supposed to be singing, and I think his mouth is just open. Like, he's just like, ah. Like
I rewinded on this part because I was like, there's definitely different notes being played, but his hands do not move at all. And like, you know, I play guitar. Maybe that's just like a nitpicky, I'm a guitarist type thing. But I was like, he doesn't move his hand at all.
Yeah. But for me, it was just the mouth and not singing when he was supposed to be like, you're the lead guitarist. I'm like, no, he's not. He's not.
So I felt really bad for Willow here because Xander and Empada are dancing. And this is the second time this has happened to her at the Bronze. This season.
Oh,
this happened.
We're 4 episodes in.
This happened 3 episodes ago where Buffy was dancing with Xander and she was just watching. And then now she's just getting cucked all over the place, dude.
Can I say, if this is happening, he would be able to date so many girls in that school. Because one, they would be like, dude, that's the guy who's dating Buffy. He hangs out with her. And I guess Buffy's not unpopular anymore. And he had the hottest foreign exchange student all over him.
Yeah.
Like, to the point where you'd be like, other girls would be like, hey, I got to figure out what his deal is. He would be getting the Pete Davidson effect.
Oh, yeah,
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, dude. That's a good comparison.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're dancing. They're slow dancing. It's this weird long montage where like there's like fade in transitions of each of their faces, dude, like getting closer.
When they put the fingers and interlock their hands together before they dance, I'm like, what is this? This is not high school.
So then we get a scene where like Seth Green, in the middle of like his band playing a song, he like the singer comes over to him and he goes, "Who's that girl?" And then Cordelia's boyfriend's like, "Oh, that's the hot foreign exchange student." And he goes, "No, not her. I'm talking about the Eskimo." And then it cuts to like Willow looking doofy as fuck.
Yeah. And my thought was like, where are their eye lines that he thought you were talking about one person and you're talking about the other one?
Yeah. Also, you're in the middle of the song. Like you could hear the microphone's right in front of his face.
Yeah. Who's that girl? Whoa. I'm like, what is happening?
Yeah. So then Xander goes in for a kiss, and just as he's about to kiss her, Empada, her hand becomes mummified. And she's like, "Oh shit!" And she like pushes him away and runs away.
I guess
and he's like,
"I guess she has to eat more than a vampire does."
I guess so.
Like, how many people do you need to eat?
Yeah, I didn't get this. But as soon as she runs away, I love Xander's line where he goes, "Well, I can rule out it wasn't something I said this time."
Yeah. They kind of figured his character out. They've got some good stuff for him.
Yeah. So she runs away. Xander's very sad about it. Then Buffy and Giles are driving to the school, and Buffy's like, "Why can't you get a better car?" And he's like, "We need to reassemble the plate because that's what's going to keep her in storage or turn her back into a mummy or whatever."
Yeah, which I was like, did you not figure that out already?
Yeah, I don't know.
Like, what did they think the plate was for? If the plate wasn't important, why would I don't know. I was like, I thought you knew the plate broke. The guy at the museum says this is the seal that was there to like the museum knows that information.
Yeah, nobody pays attention at a fucking museum, Vance. Giles wasn't there.
He couldn't read the plaque. Oh, I guess once the guy starts slashing at a knife, they decided, oh, we should just get out of here.
Yeah.
We should casually walk the opposite direction. Let this guy roam free. Apparently it's his museum tonight.
So then Giles is like, all right, Buffy, I'll drop you off at the dance. You protect everybody, and then I'm going to go reassemble the plate. And they're like, good plan.
Then he asks for gas money. I ain't going to be driving all around Sunnydale all night.
Giles is a city boy. So then we cut to Empada trying to suck some other dude's life force out of him. Because she likes Xander. She actually does like Xander. And this guy's like, this is really weird. Why are you trying to kiss me? Aren't you with Xander? And she's like, does it look like I'm with Xander? And then now her whole arm is like mummified. Yeah. And she goes to kiss him. And then he starts being like, Empada, where are... Or Xander comes out of nowhere. He's like, Empada, where are you? And then she lets this guy go.
Well, that guy, we talked about this beforehand. This is a guy from... the other show we did a podcast on, Girls.
Who was he in Girls?
He is Pal, Elijah's boyfriend for a couple episodes.
Oh, the mean guy.
Yeah.
Oh,
Danny
shit.
Strong is the actor's name.
No way.
Yeah.
All right.
I saw that face and I was like, oh, wow, that's him. Yeah.
That was such a minor character in that show. Man.
I got good facial recognition, man. Yeah.
That's impressive.
Because he's in the dark. He's in the shadows.
Yeah.
Most of that episode, yeah.
Yeah. Kudos. Vance?
Yeah, I'm spotting stuff, man. I'm spotting lipstick miscues and actors from other shows.
So then that guy leaves, Pal from Girls. Mm-hmm. He leaves like, that's my cue to exit. Xander comes in. He's like, what's the matter? Like, why did you run away when I tried to kiss you? I'm sorry. What? And then she starts crying and she's like, I don't know. And he's like, what is it? Is it a secret and you can't tell me or you'll have to kill me? And she's like, pretty much, yeah.
And this is shot in a place in the Bronx. I don't know where this is, but the backlighting with the red curtain and like, it's very, I don't know, almost Skinamaxy, you know?
Yeah.
Like a very softcore porn level.
It's kind of romantic though,
it's romantic too, yeah, but it's like that soft lamp light, you know?
Yeah. But then she's like, I'm sorry. I'm just like, these are tears of happiness and sadness. And he's like, no, don't worry about it. It's fine. And then they go in to kiss. And then she's like kissing him. And it's like, they're getting passionate with it. And I was like, okay, maybe she isn't going to suck his life. And as soon as I thought that, the violin strike and her grabbing the back of his head, and then his eyes get all wide as shit. And she starts sucking his life. And then she's like, no, wait, I can't. I love you, Xander. And throws him onto the ground and he's gasping for life. Yeah. And now like both of her arms are all mummified. And then she just runs off.
Yeah, it's like a Rogue from X-Men kissing someone, you know?
Yeah.
But I just thought about this now because that kiss was intense. Like it's not like one kiss. Like it's multiple shots and stuff. And you know what it reminded me of? It reminded me of when Buffy first kisses Angel.
Okay.
How like that one like was intense. Like it wasn't just like one lip lock and you're like, oh, they kiss. Like they go at it. Like they're like, we can't have sex on this show, but we are going to treat these kisses like, yeah,
this is passion.
Yeah, and they do a good job with it.
They do. Yeah. It was a very passionate kiss. Yeah. I was like, yeah, go Xander.
Yeah, and I was like, I'm rooting for the mummy lady too.
Well, it's also like it proved that she has control over her life sucking powers. Like she could kiss him without sucking his life. Yeah. But then it was just like, oh, I need more life though.
I wish they could just find a way to get her like life blood without like do an angel thing with her, you know?
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's easier with Angel though.
Yeah, it just goes to the
blood. Like she has to suck life out of people. Like you can get donated blood.
Yeah.
Like she needs to like suck the life out of people and turn them into mummies.
Maybe they shouldn't have turned her into a mummy.
That's true.
Yeah. But she would have never experienced the cultural appropriation dance back in her time period.
That's true. So then Buffy shows up at the Bronze and she's like, Willow, where's Xander? And she's like, I don't know. He went away with Empada. And she's like, Empada's the mummy. And Willow's like, good.
Yeah. She's like, awesome. Oh, I mean, Xander.
She's like, good. You know what? Good. Oh, wait. Hold on. Xander. So then they...
Wait, they rush off, and like right behind them is a reveal that Seth Green is standing there. His name is Oz. We'll call him Seth Green. I'm probably going to call him Seth Green forever. On this.
Me too. I felt so stupid because I wrote SG for Seth Green in my notes, but his name is literally OZ. It's the same letters.
It's like 2 letters if you want it. I know. He's Seth Green. It's fine. And like she gets dragged away, and he's like, "Who is that girl?"
Yeah,
and like doesn't go after it. This whole episode, no one goes after people.
Like, no, absolutely not.
But like, why is he so smitten too? Like, she's done nothing.
She's a cutie.
She's a cute
redhead like him.
But like the question, like, who is that girl? It's like, just ask to anybody.
Do you think Willow is going to be into Seth Green, or is this going to be a like Seth Green lapdog for Willow type deal? And she's like, "Oh, get this guy away from me."
Oh, I didn't think of it that way, because they were setting it up with her being like, maybe I'll date someone else, and then he's like, I don't care if a girl's super super hot, and it's like, okay, yeah, you two are together, and maybe because you're both redheads, we're shoving you together too. Like, I don't know. I can't see those two of them vibing right away, but I don't know what Seth Green's character is.
I have to say, Seth Green has an incredibly underrated career. Mm-hmm. That guy has been in so many things that are successful and like cult following, and like he's created so many things and voice acts on. Like, that guy rules.
Yeah, Robot Chicken is still kicking.
Robot Chicken's amazing.
Family Guy still kicking. Austin Powers, his role in Austin Powers
is great. In Austin Powers.
And that's kind of where I drop off. I don't know. I know like he's in the comic book, but I mean, how much more do you need to do?
I know, exactly. Like that's such a long career. Like, this is 1997. He's still relevant today.
Yeah, he runs. I mean, he runs Stupid Buddy, the animation shop. I think. And my good friend of mine, she still worked for them as a producer. And yeah.
So anyway, he misses his chance to chat up with Willow. So they go upstairs and they find Xander, and he's like, "What's happening? What's going on?" And then they're like, "You don't know." And then they're like, "He'll figure it out later." And they start like dragging him down the stairs.
We'll explain on the way, so we don't have to explain to them. So you guys don't have to watch us tell them.
Yeah. So Giles is at the museum, and he's putting the plate back together with super glue.
Has no one in this museum been like, "Hey, the mummy has braces. Hey, this plate is broken." Like, we give tours, and the plate is a part of it. I don't even. This is like Sunnydale's never going to get another museum exhibit again.
They shouldn't. There's also no security. Like, it's nighttime. Giles is in there alone, super gluing a plate together.
They spent all their extra budget on the dance, because even in the school hallways, it's empty. Like, it's really like nobody there. Yeah,
that's true. So as Giles is putting the plate back together, Impada shows up, and she's like stalking him. And he's like, "All right, there we go. One more piece left to put in." And then Impada sneaks up from behind him, grabs the plate, smashes it into a bajillion pieces, starts choking Giles, throws him into the tomb.
Giles passes out so easily on this show.
Why didn't she suck his life?
She was going to, and then Buffy showed up.
Oh, right.
She's gotten to the point where like she's closer to main character, so it takes her longer to kiss them.
Yeah. Okay.
Except for the guy that was trying to kill her in the bathroom, it was like super easy.
Yeah. So, Buffy shows up, and she jumps like 400,000 feet in the air
for no reason
to get to Impada.
It's just like, oh, here's our Wonder Woman moment, or like that 70s show or whatever, Wonder Woman, where it's like do 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 do, and she jumps into the air, and you're like, cool, Buffy. Like, that's the only move you're gonna do besides some kicks.
She Mario double jumps up onto the platform. And then the mummy turns around. She's like, "Oh, shit. You're not a normal girl either, huh?" She's like, "You've been keeping a secret from me, huh?"
She's like, "You've been keeping a secret," looking at her arms. She's like, "All right, we've been keeping secrets."
So she throws Giles into the thing. Then Buffy starts kicking the mummy's ass. And then the mummy's like, "I don't need to take any of this." throws Buffy into the tomb with Giles and slams it shut. And I was like, that's awesome.
Yeah, and I was also like, well, Buffy can just lift that up.
Right?
Like,
that's not hard for her at all.
no.
But apparently it is, because it takes her a while to do it.
It takes her just enough time for the plot.
Yeah. So Ampada starts walking away, and Willow shows up, and Ampada grabs Willow, and she's like, I'm going to suck the life out of you now. And then Xander shows up, and he's like, put her down. I love her. She's my best friend, but I would never kiss her, but put her down. And then Ampada's like, but if I kill her, we could be together. Like, just let me suck her life out of her, and we could be happy together.
We could be happy together for like 15 minutes before I have to suck someone else's life
Exactly.
out of them.
Exactly. And then Xander is just like, no, and just like kind of grabs her off of, like, there's no resistance from the mummy. And he's like, if anyone's going to die, it should be me. So come suck my life. And then the mummy's like, I don't want to. And then she like kind of hesitates. She's like, but okay, I'll do it. Yeah. She grabs Xander. And then Xander's like, oh shit, I was calling your bluff.
Yeah, like there's no plan here. Like, and I think this is like underselling the mummy stuff that they set up with her being the one and being tormented with like, hey, I was sacrificed for like some ritual and I got turned into this thing and I just want to live it normal. I just want to go to a dance just like Buffy. Like, and there's some real weight to that. And I don't think they really pay it off there. They kind of pay off what we already know, that Xander will do anything to save Willow, which we've already seen. But yeah. I feel like they could have had more, like, I don't know, I would have liked it to be like where the mummy has to like sacrifice herself and realize how Buffy realizes we are chosen ones. We do have to make this sacrifice. It sucks. We can bond on it sucking. And then Buffy can learn like, yeah, she can literally see someone that's like her doing what she has to do all the time. It just seems like they set that all up and then they don't pay it off at the end.
Yeah, no, instead, Buffy kicks open the door from the tomb, jumps down, and then just rips the mummy away from her arms, and the arms are left standing on Xander's arms, and then the mummy just turns into a bunch of dust.
It just falls over and shatters.
Yeah.
And then they don't say a word. They just walk away in silence. Giles somehow is back up and just walks away. And that's the point I was making. I was like, it's like they just said we're done.
Yeah, they were like, we're tired of this shit.
And my question was like, why did the plate need to be put together? Is she actually dead? If the plate doesn't keep her from being alive, I'm just so confused.
There's so much that needs to happen to this mummy person in order to keep them alive. Like, the plate needs to be destroyed. She needs to suck life out of people every 2 hours.
But like sucking,
but she's susceptible to death, like actual death. Like Buffy just like kicked her and she turned into dust. Like
she just like pulled her away and dropped her, and she shattered like a fragile piece of like pottery or something. And I was just like, wait, so if that's the case, couldn't you just take the plate seal off of her and just like sit there for like 20 hours and just tie her up, and she would just like fall
just
apart?
Lock her in her room, and
she would just like when you don't have those desiccates in your those things that keep moisture out or something, and she just dries out. Like I was just like, what is this ending?
Yeah, it was weird.
Just a weird ending.
I don't know.
They just walk away.
They just walk away. Like, they walk away with the same energy as like, we're so fucking tired of this.
Yeah.
Like, God.
And like, what do the museum people think when they show up?
Yeah. They just get a dust buster and sweep up the mummy.
Like, because those arms are still intact.
Yeah. The head was still intact.
Yeah.
It was just like the torso and legs that just completely
And the mummy
up.
is wearing a dress.
Yeah. It was wild, dude.
Yeah. A modern day dress. Oh, man.
Xander walks away with the energy of like, God, why is every chick I'm in like? And then we cut to like them at school, and it's basically like him talking to Buffy, being like, "Why is every chick I'm into a fucking demon?" Or something. Yeah. It's like I have the worst. He goes, "Present company excluded. I have the worst taste in women, like of all time." And Buffy's like, "I don't know, man. I felt bad for Impata. Like she didn't deserve what she went through. Like it's kind of sucks." And then there's like this weird Buffy and Xander having a moment of like, Buffy's like, "Well, you saved my life one time." I forget what she says exactly, but they definitely have a moment and they like have a lingering look at each other. And then Xander just like walks away.
Yeah, they kind of like both walk off camera, or they're walking towards camera during this walk and talk. And it really is a setup like, well, you saved my life. Like you couldn't save hers, but you saved mine. And I like appreciate it. And like, it's not just like hey, he needs an emotional boost. It's like there's a chemistry here now between the two of them. And I was like, thank you. Like, let's get Willow with Seth Green. Let's get Buffy with Xander, just so I don't have to see the same scene where he's like, "What? A dude called your phone?" And wait, well, no, maybe not. Was he buff? Did he sound good?
You think that those scenes will end if they're together? They'll intensify.
It'll be different stuff, though, at least. Like, at least it'll be a different... I mean, I felt like this was exactly the same. The beginning was like the exact same beats of like, of Willow being like, I guess he doesn't like me. Like, we've hit max level of that for me. And it's weird because we're only 16 episodes into the show. Yeah. But like, and I know there's a lot of episodes left. I mean, a lot. And I don't know. I think they realized that. They pushed it in the beginning, and now they were like, we got to bring in Seth Green. We got to bring in somebody.
Get us another redhead.
Yeah. And then like, we still got Spike. We still got Spike out there, so.
We all know that redheads can only be with redheads.
It's just, it's TV rules. The rules of the 90s.
And that's the episode for Inca Mummy Girl. You got anything else you want to add before we wrap this up, Vance?
No, I said enough.
Oh, wow, okay.
Everyone's tired of here listening.
All right. Well, thanks for listening, everybody. Please subscribe and rate and review. Rate and review on Apple Podcasts if you could. Subscribe on Spotify. And if you want to write into the show, it's boyswatchingbuffy@gmail.com, or you can slide into our DMs and follow on Instagram @boyswatchingbuffy. Thanks again. And stay tuned for next week's episode where we talk about Reptile Boy.
I kind of love these titles.
They're getting less subtle with the titles. This one was Inca Mummy Girl. This one's Reptile Boy.
Ghost Man. It really ruins out like, let's predict what we think will happen in the next episode.
Yeah, I think there's going to be a Reptile Boy in the next
reptile. Who's going to fall in love with the Reptile Boy?
I think that Seth Green's going to be the Reptile Boy.
No, he can't be, because you got to kill the Reptile Boy.
What if he's just the Reptile Boy, like a good guy, like Casper the Friendly Ghost, but Seth Green the friendly Reptile Boy?
Sure. Why not?
He looks kind of reptilian.
I don't know. Is that your prediction? You want to go with that?
Yeah, Seth Green's the Reptile Boy.
Okay.
All right. Thanks for listening, everybody. We'll see you next time.
You're just impressed by any pretty girl that can walk and talk.
She doesn't have to talk.
Tune into the Salsa Kings Network. Crack one open if you dare, creeps.